Welcome to Rick's Corner, brought to you by Old School Labs, the brand I trust and the only one I put my name to. Use my code DRASIN12 on the link below.
Welcome to Rick's Corner. The man, the myth, the legend. Now on with the show.
That's him though.
He doesn't. Like in my backyard.
He doesn't get involved. The camera's on.
Oh, okay.
So that's okay. So I'm going to introduce you and then. That woke me up, and then we're going to talk.
Okay.
Okay. Welcome to Rick's Corner. Today my guest is a very, very wonderful person who I've known for maybe, 30 years?
At least.
At least 30 years. 6 times Miss Olympia, Cory Everson, who I tried to get on here for a long time, and she finally made time for me.
Yes, I did.
And I'm so glad you did.
Thank you.
And you found your way.
I did.
Did you bring me cookies?
No. I thought about it. Sorry.
The story is, she made me chocolate chip cookies many, many years ago and brought them to the gym. They were in the back of the car. She went to get them, and it was 110 out, and they melted into a loaf.
But he still ate them.
I still ate them.
Yeah, it was just like one giant salt block.
It was like pull apart bread. And this is when we trained at Steve Davis.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
That was a good gym.
Yeah, that was the second gym I ever trained at. The first one was Jack Wright's gym.
Yep.
Yep. And then Steve Davis's gym, which was really big.
And then Northridge Golds?
Northridge Golds. And that was it.
And then Tim Miller's.
Oh, yes. That's right. Were you there when the lady fell off the treadmill and just went bloop sideways?
No, but I was there when you had a photo shoot and you came out with your hair all pumped up in some sort of outfit. All made up.
Yeah, I had all the hair extensions.
You looked like a Las Vegas showgirl.
Yeah, I was.
Right?
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah. Yeah.
That was an okay little gym.
That was my previous life at the Las Vegas showgirl.
Well, there that went.
Do you need that? I'll get it.
No,
Okay.
no, it's just something to hold on to. I'll just hold on to the table just in case. So let's talk about something. Let's go back to when you started working out. What got your mindset? Because we were talking about mindsets and doing things and accomplishing things. What got you interested in even going to a gym?
Honestly, I never would have gone to a gym if I wasn't in sports. Like in college at University of Wisconsin-Madison, I was on the track team, the gymnastics team, and the badminton team. And my freshman year after I quit gymnastics, didn't quit, I finished the season, but then I went out for outdoor track. We started doing weights because I was a pentathlete. And so that's where I met Jeff. And it was like the first time that he met women that were really interested in weights because we were so serious about doing well in track. It wasn't just like, fun on the side. We were really serious about becoming great athletes. And so we were the throwers, the jumpers, and the pentathletes were the ones that went to the gym. And so we trained with the football team and the wrestling team and the basketball team, but we were the only women in the gym to start with.
Well, I remember you training here. You were training like crazy hard.
Yeah, you know what? It's like I always figured I'm not going to ever be the biggest person, but I can be defined by being able to do higher reps with lower weight. You know, I always try to get that muscle density. I don't have any now, but that was always my philosophy, was just to keep the symmetry. And you can do stuff about symmetry. You can fix it a little bit, but you either kind of have it by the gift of God and being born, from parents that gave you that symmetry. Yeah. You can fix it a little bit, but really you need to have a good base to start with.
Well, absolutely. I was saying the other day on this show that you need a base or a foundation for everything you do in life. And I said part of the bodybuilding base for me was powerlifting.
Yes.
It gave me a good base. It gave me strength and gave me legs and things that could handle doing bigger things and then shaping after that.
Yep. I think the same thing with me with being in gymnastics and being a track athlete. I think, and then I was a swimmer too, which was probably, of all the sports I've done, that probably would have brought me the furthest, swimming. But you do. I think if you have a base, not only do you have a mentality of knowing how to train and be disciplined, but your body already is head and shoulders above a person who's just getting started.
Yeah. No question about it. Swimming is one of the best.
Yeah, yes.
I'm just afraid of water.
Oh, I'll teach you how to swim.
I won't go in the ocean.
No?
No, not
Sharks?
those little crawly things at your feet, and that's it. How was your diet back then?
It was pretty bad. You know, I've never been known for a great diet.
No, I used to bring bagels to the gym.
Yeah, bagels. I still eat bagels. I love bagels. You know, it's like what I always, you know, what I missed in the diet, I made up in the workout.
Yeah.
And I would prefer to eat a little bit more normal and, you know, have a sandwich or have, you know, a piece of pizza or have some ice cream or have back then it was Snickers. People know me for that. And then I would just train a little bit harder.
Oh.
So, you know, I never ever have been known for a great diet. Like some people do, like nowadays, I can't believe it. I had some guests in my house, you know, and they're measuring their food and they're buying certain.
Oh, no, we never did that.
Oh, never.
No.
Never. Ever.
Just as, how much protein does it have? Okay, I'll eat it.
Yeah. We didn't even ask how much protein it was. I mean, it just didn't matter. It was like, the mirror said everything.
Yes.
If you looked good, if you looked like you were on track, if you didn't have too many rolls, you know, in your stomach, and it was all, the mirror told you that you were on track.
Right.
Yeah. There was no scales.
There was no scales. And scales don't tell the truth anyway. They might tell you're up and down in weight, but that could be water.
Yeah.
Like you said, you're holding water in my arm.
Yeah.
Well, that would change my body weight. It wouldn't be true
Right.
to what my weight would really be.
Right.
But some people, I see them in the gym and they're working out hard. They're doing 20 minutes on the treadmill and they never change. And they still hold the same amount of body fat. So I don't understand why. Because if they dieted properly the right way, they would lose a lot of that. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah, we used to kind of make fun of that.
I still do.
Yeah, okay, good. It's kind of mean, but we used to always make fun of that. And then Jeff used to be the best one. He used to go in and he used to do this, you know, and he'd do these weird contortions of lifting the weight up. And, you know, we used to kind of get a kick out of the really skinny guys with no calves, and they
Yeah.
would be doing donkeys, you know,
Yeah.
and they'd have this like 300-pound guy on the Victor Richards on his back.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and their calves, you know, still looked like this.
However, and I've said this on my show many times, donkey calf raises were like one of the best exercises.
Yeah, I did them.
Yeah, I am too. They work
Yeah.
great. I put two guys on my back and knock one off and finish off with that. And they said, oh, no, that's really stupid. It's not stupid. It works the belly of the calf.
And it works your abs too. Like it's not just like a machine that
Yeah.
has the perfect leverage. It's kind of like more of like free weights. You
Yeah.
know? And you've got to control your body and tighten your abs. And you know, I still am an old school trainer. I don't even really like the new machines. You know, I like the old machines, but I mostly like the weights. You know, give me
Yeah.
a bench and give me some dumbbells, and I can be done in half an hour. I've got a good workout done. I've got a good pump. You know, at this age, I'm 61, you know, so at this age, oh my God, I'm 61.
Can you believe it?
Oh my God.
How did you surpass me?
Really? Shut up. No, you said I was 26 and you're 27.
That's true.
But it's, you know, your goals change as you get older. And so before it was competing, doing well in sports, you know, and then now it's basically trying to maintain my body, you know, and be relatively pain-free so that I can still engage myself in the activities with my kids and still enjoy going for a walk or playing tennis or
Yeah.
going to the gym. I love to go to the gym. I definitely don't work out hard, but you know, I'm not planning on competing anytime soon either.
The thing is with the dumbbells and the free weights, I've always done, but since I've had a few injuries the past year or two, I go to the machines. And if I focus on what I'm doing and feel the muscle, it's almost the same as doing the weights.
Yeah, it is.
If I use bands, it's the same thing. The muscle doesn't know what I'm putting on it; it just knows it has resistance.
That's very true.
So you work around things you can, but things change as you get older and your priorities change, your body changes. I just got smarter, that's for sure. I train smart now, so I don't get injured, but I do have injuries. The thing is that you've got to. It's not like a diet really tight, but I'm not as hungry as I used to be.
Me too. I noticed that. I used to notice that after every Miss Olympia, I would be so hungry, like during the training, and you know. And I think it was like mental. I think it was almost like a mind game, because as soon as I'd be done competing, and you know, Jeff would be, okay, we're gonna go to your favorite place. What do you want? And I'd be like, I don't really have any cravings right now.
Yeah.
And
weird.
I think it was more mental. It's like if someone tells you you can't have it, you want it more.
Yeah.
And you know, now I eat really healthy now, and you know, I still don't weigh anything or whatever. I eat almost zero meat, but I don't eat a lot of fats and I don't eat a lot of sugars either. eat a lot of popcorn.
Oh, I love popcorn.
Love popcorn too.
I go to the movies. I might even go later just to get the popcorn.
I know. The $20 bin.
I get the big one.
I know, us too.
Yeah,
Get refills.
When I was with my girlfriend, we go every Sunday, and I get up, and she says, "There's more popcorn on the seat than you ate." She says, "Does it fall out of you somewhere?" I said, "I don't know." So one day we got peanut butter cookies instead.
Yes.
And when I got up to leave, she said, "Now there's peanuts on the seat." Where'd they come from?
They go in this way and out this way.
Yeah, but out the other end. But I can't enjoy a movie without popcorn and a Diet Coke.
No. Same with me.
Just part of what I do.
Okay, we need to go to a movie because I have never gone to a movie and not gotten popcorn.
Oh, no.
Never.
I go to this one at the ArcLight over here, and the security guards over there know me. They're around your age, around 26. And so how you doing, Rick? I said, okay. He says, you need anything? I said, no, I'm just going to go watch the movie. Don't you want a Coke and a popcorn? I said, I'm not waiting in that line. Don't worry, I'll take care of it. And here he comes down to the front seat, and he hands me a popcorn and a Coke and brings it to me. That's how nice these people are.
That's wonderful.
I know. How much do I owe you? He says, nothing.
Oh.
He says, I don't pay for these, neither do you.
Oh my gosh,
nice?
That's so nice. And you know what? There are so many nice people like that, and so many people that are giving, and they'll really give the shirts off their back. And I think sometimes we forget how nice people really are.
That's true. And I remember my friends telling me that I actually gave this guy a shirt off my back at one time in Balboa, where he got in a fight. He had no clothing. But I think that's the way to treat people, because it comes back, not because you want it to come back, but it does come back to you that way.
Yeah. And I think too that there's a benefit. Like we go and we feed the homeless, and my kids go with me, and my sister Cameo, my best friend. And so it's not that you do it because you think you're going to get a pat on your back from the Lord. No, you're doing it because it makes you feel good too. And so there's a benefit as well from doing good. It makes you feel good about yourself.
It's always good to put a smile on somebody's face.
Oh, absolutely.
Nowadays in gyms, which I've said many times, these young kids have their headsets on, their cell phones, and they don't communicate.
Yes.
They're texting.
Yes.
And I asked a kid one day, how many more sets of text do you have so I can use the machine? He goes, oh, I'm sorry, and he got off the machine. And there was another kid working out, and he had a big, thick headset on. And I said, I want to tell you something about your training and how you look. And he didn't hear me. I said, take your headset off. You're going to like this. He said, what? I said, I've been watching you for the past 2 months, and you've made some tremendous gains in your body, and you look really good. Really? Oh, that's a compliment coming from you. I said, but you wouldn't have known it with your headset on.
Yes.
Because you weren't listening to me.
Yeah.
But it's always good. I said, too many people walk around, they're jealous and say nasty things, but you got to tell them that they look okay.
Yeah.
I think
Absolutely.
It's a good idea.
Yeah.
So when you started to compete, going back a little bit, were you, I don't know, did you compete amateur at first?
Yeah, I did. I competed in 1980, was my first contest. It was the Ms. Mid-America against Tina Plackinger. Remember that name?
I know, yeah.
And
I have a story about her.
Yeah, she's sweet.
No, I just that she had rented a room from Mandy Tanny.
Oh.
Back then, and I was going out with Mandy Tanny for about a month or two.
Oh, love Mandy Tanny.
She was cool. She used to make me dinner every night.
Oh my gosh.
That was good.
Wow. And that's something I never did when I was competing. Never made dinner. I would make a salad or whatever, but now I make dinner, and I make dry dip, and I make chicken.
Ooh.
I make spaghetti, and, I have to. I've got kids.
Yeah.
But, when I first started, I was not professional. I never was planning on being professional. I was kind of like, Jeff was the guy. It was his dream. It was ever since he was like maybe in 3rd grade, he loved strongmen. And, not even bodybuilding yet. It was just strongmen, in all the old strongmen magazines and stuff. And so I kind of fell into his life and really liked it, because it's like when you're done in track and college sports, it still gives you something to do that's competitive. Like you don't have to be done with your competition just because you graduated from college. So I really liked that, and I never really, I was thinking about this the other day. I never sat down and thought to myself, I want to be Miss Olympia one day. Isn't that so weird? Like I never dreamt of it because I was more doing the weightlifting and the bodybuilding because it was a common bond that we had together, that Jeff and I had together, and we really enjoyed it. And because it was so new in the sport, I did very well in it in the beginning because there wasn't as many people competing as there is nowadays. So, I was in the beginning. And then after I compete, I had my blood clot. in 19, I think it was 81 or something, and they almost amputated my leg.
How'd you know you had a blood clot?
It was the most painful thing I'd ever experienced. I had graduated from college, was working full-time as an interior designer in Chicago, and I had this pain in my groin area, and it just kind of felt like a headache, in my groin area and my hip, and and I was running at lunchtime because we were getting ready to do a contest the next Saturday, and so I would run at lunchtime, and I would still do my workouts, and I remember it just hurt so much. It was so uncomfortable. Went to a gynecologist. They said, "You're fine. Everything's good down there." I'm like, "Okay, it's not endometriosis. What is this pain?" And it wasn't like a sharp pain. It was a dull, achy pain. So I was feeling really yucky one night. So instead of staying at the house that I was living at, I stayed at my mom's house. I had to go to mom's house because I wasn't feeling well. And Jeff was still in Madison. And I woke up in the middle of the night, and my leg was throbbing, and it was doubled in size from my toes to my hip. It looked like Tom Platz's leg was put on my body. You couldn't touch it. It was so shiny that it looked like if you touched it, it would explode.
Yeah.
And so they rushed me to the emergency room, and then I stayed in intensive care for 10 weeks, critical care for 4 weeks, had to learn to walk again, lost every bit of muscle, in the hospital. I remember having soup cans and trying to do, because I thought in my mind I was going to get out in a few days.
You sound like me.
And so I'm like, okay, I could make it up to that contest in Appleton, Wisconsin, or wherever it was, and I just didn't.
You win best leg.
Yeah, best leg, exactly. So, but I still remember the day that I was released, and I had to walk with crutches, and then I got to ride a bike for the first time after a few weeks, and it was so exciting to me. It was raining, and I was screaming, and I was happy, and I'm riding my bike and just thinking, I love life so much, and whatever comes your way, you can overcome it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
What they do normally for that is they'll do an ultrasound and check your veins out.
Yeah, they did a thing called a venogram where they shot dye in my leg, and then they put me on a machine and turned me upside down, and then they gave me streptokinase, which is like Drano inside of your veins. And it turns out I have an inherited genetic disorder. I have protein C deficiency, factor V, and protein S, and so those things make you clot. It's a lot of Germans, me being German, a lot of Germans inherit this, and so. When people tell me they've had a clot, I'll say, "Are you German?" And 9 out of 10 times they're German.
Yeah, I had to go to my cardiologist. They did a whole scan, and then a vascular surgeon did the renal or the ultrasound on my leg. He says, "You're clear. You have no clots," because I thought that was what I had.
Yeah, they did a Doppler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
so.
it wasn't.
Yeah.
But they did remove a vein. They pulled it out like a big cord.
Oh.
I didn't feel it. I left. It was 20 minutes. I was out of there, and the next day I was in the gym. So
You're a beast.
No, I said nothing's going to stop me. I lost that finger.
I know.
And right up there from an alligator. And
the one that's out there in the pond?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And the next day I was training. These two and this one, they sewed these on, but they put little
that is
steel things
unbelievable.
inside.
On a chainsaw, from a table saw?
Guess who owned that saw prior to me? This is going to be a good one here like this.
Vic Tanny.
Joe Gold.
Oh.
It's his saw out there in my carport.
Joe Gold. Oh, now you can think of him every time you look at your hand.
I can't. Why didn't he ever clean the rust off it?
Oh my goodness.
I can't get rid of that saw because of that.
Yeah, it's like me I wear 2 wedding rings. One is Jeff's and one is Steve's. And so since 1982, I've never taken this one off. And I have this one, so I have my...
I like that.
Isn't that nice?
Yes. See, I can't wear a ring on the little finger; it falls off.
Yeah, exactly.
But they say you can get all your friends on one hand. Well, that's true, but this one's a short one.
A short friend.
Yeah, she's a little friend. So you competed. And
okay, yeah, back to that. Sorry.
You won every Olympia you went into.
I did. And so the first one was 1984, and honest to God, I did not expect to get in the top 10 because I had just come off the Miss America championship that I'd won. And, I remember people were saying, "Oh, you shouldn't compete. You should take a year and, take advantage of winning the Miss America, for a year." And, we're like, why? You know, let's just compete, you know, and get experience.
You're already in shape, why not?
Yeah, I'm in shape, you know, let's just get the experience, you know, and none of us expected me to win. The only person who did was Rick Wayne.
Good.
Rick Wayne, and I think Jeff did. I remember looking down and Rick Wayne was in the front row. He was always my biggest supporter, and Jeff was nervous looking, and yet Rick was really confident, and he kept, you know, like doing this to me, you know, and I'm like, what is he talking about? You know, like, I don't know what I'm doing up here, but it was really neat. I made really good friends, you know, some girls from Holland, and I couldn't believe it. Like, the athletes were smoking, like the girls from Germany and Holland.
Yeah.
And I'm like, smoking? Really?
I know, right?
Yeah.
It was against all grain.
Yeah, it was. So I competed, and then after that, you're really not allowed to compete in other contests because that's the highest. You can't go back down. So I was really only in 6 professional contests. That's it.
Well, that's enough.
Yeah, but boy, did I do guest posings and
a lot of covers in the magazine.
A lot of covers. I did a lot of guest posings. We did seminars. We traveled to all the different countries with a lot of fun people. You know, a lot of other athletes, Bob Paris and Gary Stridham, and I still talk with those guys like Gary Stridham, and you know, the female bodybuilders that I still talk with all the time is Bev Francis. You know, she's like my go-to girl. And then Erica Kern, which is now Erica Hoffman. You guys probably know her. She's me. She's me in another body. We are the same. And she's like become so close to me. And also Sharon Bruneau. And these are the people who I'm still, you know.
Sharon's on my Facebook. She
makes me laugh every time she calls me. She just she's the funniest person.
I told her I wanted her on here. She said, if you ever come there, I'll come on the show.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
She will have you cracking up. She should be a comedian.
What about your artwork? Because you just showed me a bunch of stuff in there that was amazing.
Artwork, yep. That was my first degree was in art. And then I changed to interior design. And I did a lot of art in like high school and college. Then I did a little bit after college, and then I haven't done any in a long time since I adopted my kids. It's like I put the same effort that I put into being Miss Olympia is how I raised my kids. They became my Olympia, and I love that I had the opportunity to do that.
Absolutely.
You know, I mean, I feel blessed that I was able to be a stay-at-home mom and put that effort into my kids, because it was hard, you know, initially going to Russia. My kids are from orphanages in Russia, and we went.
I met them.
Yeah, they're good kids, aren't they?
Yes.
Really spiritual and just really, really good kids. So artwork is going to start happening again. In the last couple of years, the artwork that I've done has been interior design for homes and landscape architecture, which are my other 2 favorite things. But I haven't done paintings and that type of thing in a while.
Is there a place on the internet where they could click on and see your artwork?
Just on my Facebook page.
You have it on there?
Somewhere.
I can bring it out and put it on the show. I can just insert it during our conversation. Okay, I can do that.
Okay.
So, how was it? I don't know why I ever came up with this idea. How was it working with Joe Weider?
It was good. I mean, I love that man.
Yeah.
I never knew Ben Weider as well as I did Joe.
Yeah.
But Joe was so warm to me and so positive, and you know, like everybody does their Joe Weider impersonation and stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't have one. Sean Ray has a really good one, but he was so kind and so smart. And what was interesting was whenever I'd go to see him, we never talked about bodybuilding. We talked about Russia or about history or about art or about...
he liked all that.
Oh, he's so smart. And I think that's why Jeff always loved talking with him, because they wouldn't always talk about bodybuilding and training techniques. It was about history and science.
You know what I liked about him is that we were talking about this in my office, about being a self-motivating person and wearing all the hats and doing all the jobs, because that's what he did. And Arnold introduced me to him, and then on Sundays he'd come down to the gym, we'd go over to the marina and have lunch. And then he'd come in and work out for a little bit, and you know how he wasn't in the greatest shape then, but he picked up the 65-pound dumbbells and started curling them. How in the world do you do that? He says, I'm strong, Rick, you don't understand, I'm really strong. So I thought, okay, I guess you are. And then he asked me why I didn't advertise my t-shirts in his magazine. I said, because I can't afford it. I said, you your page then was like $1,000. It went up to 25,000, I think. He says, don't worry about it. He says, if you model my products, I'll give you a free ad every month, and I'll have my art department put it together.
Aww.
I said, okay, and he did.
Yes.
He kept his word.
Yes.
And it was a beautiful ad. I used my ex-wife in there with me, and my son, he was little, and he had my T-shirts and baseball caps and license frames, and I used to print that stuff right out of my garage out there, and I made a lot of money doing it. He says, you'll make a lot of money with me. Just check your mailbox every Tuesday.
Aww.
Sure enough. And so he had me go out on photo shoots, and then years went by, and he sent me a beautiful letter, which I have in the other room, just checking on to see how I was. So I called, and I got a hold of his, this is just a few years ago before he passed away.
Annalise.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I said, I want to do an interview with him for my show. She said, well, let me talk to him. And she says, that's fine when? I said, whenever he's able. So I went to the office, and I brought my son Shane, the one that looks like me. I said, you got to meet Joe Weider. You're going to love this guy. He's so nice. So we went in the office, and we set up the camera, and Shane worked the camera. Here comes Joe in a nice suit with his aide helping him out. He looked like an old-time actor.
Yeah.
I can't think of the guy's name. Charles Chaplin, the way he walked out. And he sat down with me, and she says, no, if you're going to get tired and you can't do this, let us know, and we'll just go a little bit on the interview. No, I'm fine. We went for an hour.
Aww.
And I cut it into 4 parts. He says, I'm with Rick. He says, he'll take care of me. We'll make this really nice. He says, your dad's a good guy, Shane. He says, you're very lucky to have him as your father. And I thought, where did that come from? Then he gave me a bunch of books and signed one. He gave me one of his first bodybuilding pamphlets he made that he took around and gave away in a little red wagon.
Aww.
I know the whole story. And it was like, I said, you haven't seen anything until you see Cory's chocolate chip cookies.
No, I used to make them. I used to make them for the Weider building.
Yeah.
And especially the Flex guys. Remember Terry Bratcher?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so he wrote me a poem. I'll have to send it to you. The poem about my chocolate chip cookies. But I used to always, and Jeff would get so mad at me because, like, I'm supposed to be competing in dieting, and I'm making chocolate chip cookies. But
Yes.
I had to make them for someone because I couldn't eat them myself, so I had to make them for the Weeders.
Let me ask you a question. Did you cheat and eat the dough?
Oh gosh, yes.
I know, it's the best part, right?
It's the best part, for sure.
I just can't do that. I'd
Yeah,
buy
I
the
know.
frozen ones and eat the dough. I'd bite it off like a Hershey bar.
I know, me
No,
too.
no, I can't
I know,
do
I
that.
can't do that anymore. So I've learned what not to do, what not to have in my house.
And it's not fun. When you want something, you want something.
Yep.
Like that carrot cake that you should never have ordered. So you're done with competing, obviously.
Yeah.
You've been there, done that.
Yeah.
And it's like I'm done with wrestling. People say, when are you going to do it? You got to be kidding. At
I know.
75, I'm going to get in the ring and bounce around.
Yeah, right.
Hogan still does. I mean, he doesn't bounce around much. He's had 7 back surgeries. But that's his thing. And that's
Hulk Hogan?
Yeah, that's all
7
he does.
back surgeries?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Remember when he used to come into the
Yes.
gym in Northridge?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Do you know his son, Nick?
No.
I work out with him.
Really?
Yeah.
He's in California?
Yeah, he's here.
obviously?
He works out with me, and he calls Terry on the phone. I'm with Rick. He says, I'll tell him hi. He says, you got 2 dads, one in Florida, one in California, because Terry and I think the same way.
Yep.
And we give him the same advice about
And
dating.
you were both musicians.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
So
interesting.
Nick sees, hey, Pops.
I love it.
He's a good kid.
Yeah.
He's had some problems, but he's a good kid.
Yeah, that-
and
you know
he means
what?
he means well.
I think, like my dad always said, that, you know, people are born with good hearts and people are born good people, you know.
When
and
I was sick, he called to check on me.
that's so good.
He's a nice boy.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
And he's always telling me about his girlfriend problems and wants my advice. And he says, it's the same thing my dad tells me. I said, well, we've been around. We know.
Yeah.
You know, take my advice.
Yeah.
Don't sort of wrapped up in these things.
Yeah.
But it's good to have all those years behind you with all the people that we've met and that we
Yeah.
know, and a lot of them are gone, which is really
Yeah.
sad. I mean, so many are gone.
I know, it's
And
hard.
I told my son today and my daughter, I said, I'm going to let you know where everything is in this house, because if something happens, you need to take care of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you want to know where my valuables are and what I do. He says, yeah, but he said, I don't want to think about it. I said, you got to think about it. Because, you know, not everybody gets
No.
to my age. And I just signed a contract, actually, for another shirt design, and I gave it to my to Ina to look over the contract. She says, you know, they got you down there for 25 years.
Okay.
Is that okay? She says, yeah, it's okay. I said, I'll be 100. I'll be 100.
Yeah, 25 years, that's so good. I know my mom, you know, is doing the same thing, and we're like, we don't, la, 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 we don't want to, you know, hear it. But, I mean, even at my age, you know, look at all the, you know, the bodybuilders, you know, that have passed away, unfortunately.
yes.
And God bless every single one of you and your families. You know, when I see that news, it just brings tears to my eyes.
Oh, it's ridiculous. It's so bad. And I had Franco on here for 4 sessions. We did 4 interviews. And I went to his office, and he says, you know, Rick, you used to invite me down to the Olympic Auditorium to watch you wrestle, but you would only invite me on the nights that you won. And we went back and talked about stuff 50 years ago that I don't remember that he did.
Yes.
And I felt so nice that I reconnected with him.
Yes.
And then I get a call, what happened to him, and I was just, I went to the gym, and I left the gym, I said, I can't even work out.
No, I'm so glad you reconnected with him. Him and Arnold, when I came out on vacation in 1980 with Jeff, they were the first people we met. And they were in the gym, and they were talking in German.
It was like Laurel and Hardy.
Yeah. And I was doing sit-ups, and Jeff was out and doing, I think he was doing like some kind of Olympic pressing or something, Olympic lifting, but I remember Arnold and Franco were talking to each other, and I can understand German, so it was really neat. So it kind of broke the ice, because I'm like, hey, I understand German, blah, blah, blah. And so they were so kind and so wonderful, and Franco used to always tell me how much he loved the women having symmetry, good symmetry. That's what he always based the women's bodybuilding on.
Right.
He always complimented my physique, and that always made me feel good.
Oh, well, they admired you.
Yeah.
Everybody did.
Like,
You know
well,
that.
I don't know
You were
about
like
that.
you were like the pinup girl of bodybuilding. But look where it's gone now.
I know.
What's going on with that?
I know. It's, I got out at the right time, and people are like, well, why did you quit? In 1989? Because it was getting harder for me to win, and the girls were getting bigger, and I was staying the same. Like, I competed at 145 pounds for 6 years, and we would fool people by like, oh, look how much thicker she is, or look, she's got cross striations, and we'd say stuff that would almost like fool people thinking I was making these massive improvements when I really wasn't.
Yeah.
But we would just focus in on something else each year, like legs or whatever, but I weighed the same every year, and I trained so hard. You saw me train.
I know.
I lifted heavy weights. I trained so hard, I couldn't put on a pound of muscle. It just got like denser,
More dense, yeah.
and a little bit more defined. But what changed was my hair, my suit color, or the routine, but really I wasn't getting any better. And so I realized it's time. Plus I was, I think, 30 something, and when I turned 34, 35, I was like, okay, if I'm gonna have kids, I've got to do it now or never.
Right. Well, once you've been to that extreme, there's nothing to prove anymore.
No.
You've already done it and been there. And people say to me about bodybuilding. I remember when you were back in the day, you were so big. I said, I'm actually heavier now than I was then.
Yes.
But I have nothing to prove.
Yeah, same. Yeah.
I'm not trying to stay ripped at 75. I'm trying to stay leaner. But the younger generation, I don't know what they expect. They expected. Well, here's what it is. When you're 25 and 30 years old and you go to the gym, you're impervious to everything. You think, I'm going to be this weight forever. It's never going to change. I'll be training down here at Gold's when I'm 75 years old, doing the same thing, looking great and hitting the beach. And then reality hits.
Yeah.
Around 50.
Yeah. I actually weigh the same as I did when I was competing, as I did when I was a senior in high school. So I'm like the most boring person. I have the same haircut.
But things change, and I want to tell these guys, they kind of don't make fun of me. They admire that I go to the gym at my age through the injuries, but you can't say you're an old man or you can't do this because you're going to get there.
Yeah.
One day you're going to be older and it's not going to be the same, and you're going to hurt and you're not going to make the gains, and it's just part of life.
And like what we were talking about in there is, even if your shoulder hurts, you just change the way you're doing something. If it hurts, like I remember the first Miss Olympia I was in, this was the same bad shoulder that I have to have surgery on. I had surgery on this one, now I'm waiting to have surgery on this one. That's been bad for 30 some years. But I had my arm in a sling, and I did legs every day. And I won in 1984. That was one of the reasons why we thought I would never win. I did legs every day, some form of legs. And
but even do that, it helps your upper body.
It did. It did. Like just even doing really light squats, I could hardly get my arm back there. But so there's always, and my arm's been bad for 30 some years, but you just learn to not do, wide bench presses, you do them narrow, or you can always do something.
Yes, you can
and
work
there's
around
no
it.
excuse. You can always work around an injury.
If it hurts, don't do it, but find another alternative.
Yes, absolutely. Exactly.
The thing I don't understand is, like, if I go to the movies here at the ArcLight and I got to get a parking ticket that comes out of the machine, I can't reach it. It's so far back you can't get the ticket out. They need to have an extension that comes out where you can grab the ticket and go.
Yeah.
Oh my God, is it hard?
Gives it to you.
It is so hard. I thought, there's a lot of older people that have other problems. Bring the machine out just about another 6 inches.
That makes sense.
We'll be fine.
Yep.
But they don't.
True.
Then I dropped the ticket. And I had to punch the button. I'm sorry, but the ticket fell. I can't get my arm in there. He says, okay. He says, we'll let you go through. Where's the ticket? I said, on the ground. He said, can you put it on top of the machine? I said, no, I can't even get out of my car.
Get out of my car.
Anyway, that worked out okay. So your plans now are to just enjoy your life and to do artwork?
Well, my husband and I have invested in real estate, and so we do, we've done a little bit with apartments, and we've done a lot of flips in a lot of apartments. And so, the thing...
You do flips?
Yeah, I do flips.
I thought you were out of gymnastics.
No. But the thing is, I think what I've enjoyed is, I was at the top of my field for many, many years.
Yeah.
And it got really stressful.
Yes.
And it didn't look stressful because I'd smile and I'd, smile for the camera. But it did get stressful because no matter where you go, people are looking at you like, ooh, what is she going to eat? And, no matter where you are, can I take a picture? And you can't even eat because people are, but that's all wonderful experiences. But when it was like that for like 10 years, it got stressful. And
you're under a microscope.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was, so when I quit competing, I actually, learned how to snow ski and water ski, and, I'd play football, I'd play tennis, I would go play frisbee. I did all the things that I didn't do because basically I was an athlete from 19 years old all the way to 34 years old. I was a competitor, and I never really did the other stuff people do, like in college, things I really wasn't allowed to do because I was either a track athlete or a gymnast and then bodybuilding. It took up all my time. It really did. Yeah. The way we scheduled it, it took up almost every weekend, all the time, for years and years and years. And so when I met Steve, we started investing in real estate. And so it was kind of nice because the focus wasn't on me anymore. And I was kind of done with the focus being on me, and it was on something else. And so I could put that focus that used to be on me, I could put that focus into my kids.
Great idea.
Yeah.
What about animals? This
Lots
is
of them.
The last thing I want to ask you, because I think you used to have a pig.
Yeah, I did. Beaver.
You still have?
Beaver. Leave it to Beaver, the pig. No, don't have him. We gave him away to the people across the street from us.
Was that a difficult animal to have?
No, it's just that the dogs would beat him up. And so I had, we had an Irish Wolfhound, a giant Schnauzer, a Lab, and a Wheaton Terrier. We're still rescue dogs. We do that, my sister and I, between us, we have 6 dogs.
I love dogs.
I love dogs. And, we've had cats, we've had Jeff and I had tons of birds, macaws, the golden blue ones, and we've had every animal under the sun, and then we had the pig, Beaver. But the dogs, to me, I can't live without my dogs.
They're the best.
I know it.
That cat I inherited from my ex-wife, but she's like a dog. She follows me everywhere and then hops in bed at night and puts her head on my shoulder. Well,
the reason why we have so many animals is because when the kids were little, we donated our time to the different pounds around here, and so we would go to Salvation Army, and we'd pick up blankets and towels, and then we would load my truck up, and then we'd bring them over to the different kennels, and we'd donate those, and we'd go around the neighborhood and we'd collect dog beds and food and stuff, and we'd bring them to the different kennels.
That's a job in itself.
It really was, and made us feel so good. And so when we would go through the different kennels, my daughter and my son would be like, "Oh, Mom, look at that dog. We need to adopt her and give her a chance just like you gave us a chance when you adopted us."
That's what happens.
So we ended up with 6 dogs, and I'm like, we're not going to the pound anymore. You can't pull that on me anymore.
Yep, that happens.
Yeah.
You look in their eyes, and some of them just like they're human.
But what's nice is that if you feel that way, you raise your kids that my kids are animal lovers like crazy, and it's interesting to see how whether your kids are born from your own DNA and genetics or you've adopted them, they take on your personality.
No question about it.
It's really...
Animals do too.
They do.
This little cat will wait for me to come in the door, and she'll meow and look at me, and then she'll follow me into the room and follow me in my office, and at night I'll take a shower, she'll sit on my bed, and then she'll follow me into here, and she'll lead towards the den, knowing I'm going to go lay down and maybe have a iced tea or something and watch a movie, and she'll come down next to me and put her head on me and just nuzzle around. And she does this all the time. I tell her I love her, and I rub her head, and she bumps her head against me. And
like this?
Yeah, just like that. So become accustomed to it, and I really like it.
Yeah.
And in the morning, same thing. I'll have breakfast. She comes wandering through, yawning and stretching. And what's to eat?
Yep. They just make you feel loved. You know? And that's
so
what we
good.
need to do to other people. We need to
Yes.
always make people feel loved. So.
Well, if people want to reach you, they reach you on Facebook.
Yeah. Yeah. My Facebook, I think it's Cory Everson Athlete. So.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And then I have an Instagram too, but I don't know what it is. It's like Cory Everson _ 6-time Miss Olympia. It's something because somebody else had my name, so I had to come up
You
with.
can use my name.
I will.
Okay.
Yeah.
They'll find you.
Okay. We look so much alike.
Yeah, this is true.
See?
That's true. Well, thank you again for coming over.
Oh,
and
you bet.
Taking all that time through all the fires.
Yeah.
And we got a
Again.
load of fires here.
Yeah.
The last fire last night was a mile from my house. I thought I was going to have to evacuate, but I had nowhere to go.
My house.
I couldn't get to the fire.
You couldn't get through the fire?
The freeways are closed.
Oh my gosh.
They closed the 405 and the 101. I'm stuck here. But that's all right.
Well, my son drives an ambulance. He could have come and rescued me. And he's a firefighter, so.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you again, and I'm sorry it took so long for us to finally get together after all these years, but we'll make a point of maybe a movie, maybe coffee, maybe lunch or something in the near future because life is way too short.
Absolutely.
Okay?
I love you.
And I love you too.
Thank you. I love you guys too. Thank you for watching.
Thank you so much. We'll see you all next time. Oh, that was cute. Hey everybody, I just wanted to introduce you to my new clothing line, Gym Bums of California. It's at yeahiworkout.com, YIWO.com. I have this and two other designs, plus shorts, tank tops, there's hoodies, there's all kinds of stuff. These are my designs from the 1980s that we brought back, a whole new Rick Grayson collection. Go to YIWO.com, go through it, you can order direct. They're all brand new with my signature, and you'll love them. Thank you.
Hope you enjoyed the video brought to you by Old School Labs. Use my discount code DRASIN12 on the link below at oldschoollabs.com. Hey everyone, now you can have the Gold's Gym logo drawn by me, the artist Rick Drasin, personalized and made out to you and signed by me to frame and put on your gym wall or wherever you see fit to do so. It's a piece of bodybuilding history. It will never be duplicated again. It's the largest selling icon t-shirt logo in the world, and I'm the guy that drew it, and I will draw it for you. Just go to my website, rickdrasin.com, and order there. You can pay through PayPal, and it'll be sent out right away. And be sure to watch Rick's Corner for all the videos on bodybuilding, nutrition, fitness, pro wrestling, and anything that suits your interest as far as getting physically fit and being the best you can be from the golden era of bodybuilding.
It's Rick Grayson. He's the equalizer, baby. See you next time.